This is Plastic Adventures.
Right. Hey everyone, welcome to the Sandbox edition of the Plastic Adventure Show. My co-host Steve, is with me, and we are back at it again after a 3-month hiatus. We've talked about toys in some previous shows. We talked about some news, but now we get to talk about some of the fun things that we don't seem to get a chance to talk about much anymore. And these are like the what if topics, the topics of, what do you think of this? Or, if we were in charge of a toy line, what would we do? And so that's what this version of this show is going to
It's
be
the
about.
Sandbox.
Yeah, we talk about anything and everything that kind of just flows into our head, but we're going to start off with a pretty good topic. What do you think?
Yeah. When you brought this up, it could have partially been inspired by some of the experiences or things that you saw at the con, and it may be long overdue. I don't think we've really covered this in any sort of like focus, but it was something that only back in the day would have happened when we were sitting in the toy box with our Star Wars figures and a Transformer and G.I. Joe. And
Absolutely.
that would be crossovers. Like we're now starting to see these crossovers of toy lines, particularly Masters of the Universe, who are just like crossover harlots willing to jump in bed with any other thing to cross over with. And like some are good and some are not too good. So yeah, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about like what Ninja Turtles has been doing?
Well, yeah.
Since they
So
seem to be the most crosser overish.
it Yeah, so okay, so Ninja Turtles, first of all, we saw their crossover with Masters of the Universe, which I didn't really get into, but I know it's been very popular, right? Um,
Yeah, it's had
they,
legs. It's had several waves of figures.
in fact, it's lasted a lot longer than I gave it any credit for doing, because I thought it was going to be like, oh, this is a one and done thing. They're going to be done with this. No, they kept going, and
They did. And I've only bought one, and
oh
that
yeah,
was He-Man in Stealth Ninja disguise because I just thought it was a cool as hell figure, and it is.
yeah,
But the other stuff, some of it's a stretch, and then some of it's super funny, like the Bebop and Rocksteady Too Bad
yeah,
crossover,
yeah,
where you got a Bebop head and a Rocksteady. Yeah.
Which
Two
which
Bop Steady, they
you
called
got to
it.
give him points for creativity for being able to do this, because there were some pretty creative combinations that they came up with.
Yeah, but they have had, and well, maybe we'll talk about one that's kind of neat, and maybe it's not neat for the reasons that we think, but that's Masters of the Universe and Thundercats.
Yep.
Like, if anything should have been peanut butter and jelly, those two, because they have fantasy and technology in them, and they've got
Yep.
these great characters, they seem like a really good like mix and probably like one of the most compatible type like crossovers that are out there. And did you get to see at Comic Con the crossover figures?
No, but I've seen them online.
Okay, so we're getting some really good Thundercats figures. Like you
Yeah.
you take the crossover gunk bits off of them, and they look like good Thundercats figures.
Well, they do. And like you said at the beginning, when we were playing with our toys and we had Masters of the Universe and we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and we had Thundercats, they were all kind of similarly built. So they kind of already fit within that playing world that we would create as kids. So to see them cross over seemed like a really good, like that seemed like a good step, because it felt like they were already there, right? You would play with Lionel with He-Man. You would play with Leonardo with Tigra and all of these other ones. So I think they were a good step and a good crossover mix, I think.
Yeah, because what they're doing with some of the He-Man designs looks kind of cool. They're getting more Thundercatty with He-Man than they're getting He-Man-y with Thundercats.
Right.
So that's a good one. Turtles of Grayskull was a really weird kind of a thing with some of the designs. Some are okay. So I'm actually excited. I like Battle Cat, the Battle Cat crossover that they
The
did.
Battle
That
Cat figure as a figure?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, looks like a cool Thundercats figure. But when we hop back over to Motu, I'm gonna start with a couple because they're like Target release stuff, but it's not like big deals. But
Hmm.
um sorry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Turtles and Cobra Kai.
What?
Ninja
Did I,
Turtles and
did I
Cobra
miss that
Kai.
one?
We had
Did I
those
miss that one?
figures crossover.
I missed
Yeah,
I saw the
Ninja
Turtles
Turtles
and the
and
Power Rangers. How did I miss Turtles and Cobra
yeah,
Kai?
Turtles and Street Fighter. And you got Ryu and Chun Li, and they crossed over with Turtles, and those figures are dogs, man. Those are awful. Uh, like it makes sense in that they fight, right? Like you've got ninjas and Street Fighter guys, but then the scales are so freaking out of whack on the figures. Like the turtles are
Oh,
gigantic compared to the Street Fighter. Um, Power Ranger turtles.
I saw those. I saw that, and like the Power Ranger version of Raphael was. eh, I see what they were going for, but it's not. It wasn't in my wheelhouse. I wasn't going to collect those. I was
No,
going to
they're
pawn
they're
those off.
they're pretty god awful. Like to be honest with you, that's a really ugly one. Uh, Turtles and wrestling.
That seems like it fit. I don't know why.
It's
It was
just
it
it's
was silly
wrestlers
enough to
dressed up
work.
in turtle themed gear. It's I don't know what kids buy in those. Like, when you get you have your choice between John Cena that looks like John Cena and John Cena dressed up like I don't know what the hell, like a neutrino or whatever. Your kid is probably gonna pick John Cena
John
that
Cena. Yeah.
if he can see him because he's somewhere, but it's very difficult to
Why do
find
I have
John
this
Cena
empty
on.
package? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So that's a freaking weird one.
it is.
And then you had Turtles crossed over with Transformers.
Yeah, so that was the surprising one. And
Uh,
I'm not one who buys anything with the Transformers logo slapped on it. And I do love the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah, me
But
too.
I don't think I'm gonna buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Transformers. You're probably
No,
gonna get
no,
the
not at
Optimus
all.
Prime because I know you. But
The the Turtle Van when they released it, that was I think you have that right, the Turtle
I do
Van.
have that one.
Okay, that's kind of interesting because if you're talking,
That's how I think they should go. Now, if they're going to give us
and that one,
Transformers that turn into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters, that's cool.
I think of those Ninja Turtles mutations figures. You
Yeah.
remember the ones they look like they're blown up like
Yep.
marshmallows and you flip the wrists around and the heads and like
Yes.
they go from a turtle to a ninja turtle or they go from a punk guy to bebop and rocksteady.
Yes. And they look dumb,
Uh,
dumb as hell.
they certainly do. So boy, Turtles has been a super duper like mixed bag for how
Yeah.
it's crossed over. Um, did you happen to see the Motu Transformers crossovers?
I heard about that. Let me see if that
Okay, so
pops
you
up on
got
my.
uh that's freaking weird, dude. It's like Bumblebee and Man at Arms, and like I think Skeletor and Megatron that cross over.
Yeah, so there's Megatron and Skeletor, like a black and yellow version of them.
Yeah.
And then there's a Bumblebee Man at Arms, which looks really, really weird.
Uh-huh.
Um, like I think they would be interesting if they were on their own and they weren't considered Transformers. But
But it is weird, right? Like that it's just Transformer armor that they
it's
put
just yeah, it's just
on the Motu
Transformer armor on
characters.
the character.
Yeah, so I did not see Heme Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I did not see that one. I don't see that one here. I see the Skeletor Shredder and I see the Bumblebee um Man at Arms.
It's just weird, dude. It's a
They're not
weird
impressive. They're not impressive.
no. No, not at all. And there's another crossover that was recently announced, and I was kind of excited at first, and then I saw him, and I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me! It
Which
should
one?
it not be a lock that Hot Wheels crossing over to Transformers would be freaking amazing?
No, that seemed very like absolutely 100% a great crossover. And on top of that, when you do Transformers and Hot Wheels, we got G.I. Joe and Hot Wheels too.
We
So
do. And like I think the Hot Wheels stuff where it's just the vehicle that's the, it's a novelty.
mhm.
That does the GI Joe and the Thundercats and Turtles and Batman and all that. Those are kind of neat. It works
But
better,
you're
I
talking
think, for
about the
like
transforming Hot Wheels.
um so far they've only shown two of the Transformers Hot Wheels. They're not in Hot Wheels scale. They're just Hot Wheels vehicles that they've made Transformer characters out of for like $25 a piece.
Oh, you're not talking about like the mini Hot Wheels Optimus Prime that came out. You're not
No,
talking about
no, no,
that.
no.
You're
Because
talking
that
about the
was,
ones that they announced at Comic. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So like on one half of it, like that was kind of a one-off, and that was 70 effing dollars for that Optimus Prime, and it was super not worth it.
Yeah.
Uh, but like it was die cast and like that kind of made sense. But no, I'm talking about the ones that were just shown, and it's like Bone Shaker and some other name. They're popular Hot Wheels cars that they've just done like a 5-inch transformer in, and they're $25.
Hmm.
Is that not like a massive missed opportunity? Like GoBots are the size of Hot Wheels. Why didn't we get GoBots?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see a resurgence of GoBots the way that they looked back then, but given the like the Earthrise treatment, like scale them up a little bit and give them a little bit more intricate articulation and transformation. But
Well, what I'm thinking is if Machine Robo could do it, 40 years ago, why isn't Hasbro just kind of taking a page out of that book for these Hot Wheels crossovers and making these little like $10 or $15 GoBot sized Hot Wheels cars
yeah,
using
eh,
a popular Hot Wheel design, and they don't even have to have a name. That
yeah,
doesn't have to be GoBots, but like, some of the most popular Hot Wheels cars, giving them some very simple articulation, ball jointed hips and all of that, so you get a little bit better range of motion. But
yeah,
when you fold it up into a Hot Wheels car, it's like nearly indiscernible next to a Hot Wheels. That's where they should have went with it. But instead, we now have these like Scout class um, Transformers that just turn into some obscure Hot Wheel car. I mean,
yeah.
what are we doing here?
It would have been cool to see those. I mean, like, because you think about like the popularity of the character Turbo for GoBots.
Right?
Very simple transformation. Legs pop down, arms pop off, you flip the head. Very simple, right? Super easy. So I can see what you're talking about, Hot Wheels being able to do the same thing with their designs.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it should
shouldn't
have
be
been
that
the same
difficult.
size as a Hot Wheel, using some Hasbro technology,
Hmm.
like current stuff that they're using on those little, what are they called? Are they Legends class, or what's the smallest Transformers? They're 10 or 12 bucks a piece in the store. Um,
Are they Legends? Are they called Legends class?
I don't remember,
But
but
I know which
they're
ones you're
very
talking about.
small.
You're talking about the ones that are like this.
Yeah, the little guys.
Yeah,
So why don't we have like little Hot Wheels size Transformers on Hot Wheels Transformer crossover packaging
yeah.
at 13 or 14.99 at retail, where they're going to fly off of the shelf between Transformers guys and Hot Wheels? Instead, it's coming on this big Transformers card thing with Hot Wheel crossover and a graphic of the robot, and you would never
Well,
know it was a Hot Wheel unless you like looked up the car on some Hot Wheels fan site, and oh, that's the same car. Well, you know what Hot Wheels also does? Lamborghinis, Peterbilt trucks, and like all of that stuff, and Transformers do those too. So
yeah,
it's just, I thought it was a huge missed opportunity, and
yeah.
particularly at a pricing point where you would coax people into buying multiple items. Now they're a $25 transformer for something super obscure. Are you going to buy that, or are you going to buy Scrapper,
Mhm.
or are you going to buy like a Conehead jet or whatever the $25 transformer is?
Well,
I
well,
think
so let's talk about Transformer crossovers that were done right. Um, Transformers came out in the 80s. right? So it's
Uh-huh.
right square in the middle of our childhood. And so did a lot of the other franchises, like TV shows and movies. So when we got the DeLorean, the time machine DeLorean transformer, that was like that's a gimme. Like that was something we've always
Great.
wanted, right? It's an 80s franchise mixed with an 80s franchise with a car and a transformer. That's exactly what should have happened. Same thing with Knight Rider. Knight Rider.
Yep.
80s property mixed with Transformers and 80s property right into their wheelhouse. Boom. That's another slam dunk, right? And
Yep.
then we also get things like Ghostbusters, an 80s property with a very recognizable vehicle. Transformers, mash it up. There you go. Again, I think that that's where they should focus because I
Oh
think
yeah. Yeah.
that is where their biggest amount of money is going to be made because that's their biggest audience.
It's the widest net to
Yeah.
cast out there.
Yeah. And
Nobody
so
knows these.
there are very recognizable and many more 80s properties with a recognizable vehicle that should be turned into a transformer.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm gonna let you say the one that you want to say, but I'm gonna throw in Airwolf.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Right? But yeah, give us 18. Um, give us
Yep.
Magnum PI. Give us all of these very recognizable 80s vehicles.
Give us some Miami Vice
Oh
Ferraris
gosh,
and
yes.
Lamborghinis.
A white Ferrari Testarossa turning into a, oh my gosh. Ugh. But you see what I'm saying? Like Transformers trying to do this crossover with a property that doesn't really scream Transformers.
No, and it's the way that they're doing it too.
Yeah.
There's no it, the Bone Shaker car from Hot Wheels didn't have its own season television series,
Right.
like it didn't. So to make that work, I just think you needed to be a little bit more on the Hot Wheels scale side that Hot Wheels
Yeah.
that transformed rather than Transformers that have that look like a Hot Wheel.
Yeah. No, I get that. Oh, dude, can you imagine like if they did obscure 80s crossovers like The Wraith from the movie
No,
The
how about
Wraith?
Mad Max's V8 Interceptor,
Oh, dude. That would be even cooler.
Time Rider?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh. Mm. My my
what
my,
about
my little 80s, like the one behind you, like the Fall Guy truck as a transformer.
Oh my God, I totally didn't even think about Fall Guy.
Yeah,
Yes, Fall Guy truck. Come on. Make it happen,
I know.
Hasbro.
I know. Yeah. So it's there are some crossovers that seem to write themselves. And the 80s centered properties being turned into 80s centered Transformers seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, how come we're not getting the Transformers Motu crossover where it's like the battle ram and the attack track and all of
Yes.
those crazy things
Yes.
that turn into robots? Why aren't we doing that?
Okay, so then let's talk about a failed crossover because I think it's a failed crossover. The Transformers GI Joe crossover.
100%. I love the concept and hate the execution.
Yes. So here's the reason why I both love and hate it. GI Joe as a Transformer. Yes, that seems another gimme. That seems like another slam dunk. However, making the GI Joe vehicles a Transformer character that was already a character and already has its Transformer mode, bad idea. Turning the His Tank into Megatron? No. Turning the Striker into Bumblebee? No. These these vehicles should have been their own Transformer. The Vamp should be his own Transformer, not Optimus Prime Vamp. The Striker should be his own Transformer called Striker, not mixed with Bumblebee. Like the vehicles, the GI Joe vehicles themselves already have slightly a personality attached to them. So when you cross them with the Hiss and like having a transformer called Hiss, yeah, please give me that. But why am I getting a Hiss Megatron with a bunch of kibble where it doesn't work because you're trying to make it look like Megatron and not make it look like a his tank.
Yeah, the choices have been extremely uh, bizarre,
Yeah,
and we've gotten no Optimus Prime crossover
supposedly
yet.
that's supposed to be the whatever it's called, the amphibious carrier, the
I would hope
APC.
it would be the APC, but I never thought about it like that. I thought about it as a failure for another reason, but no, I think that that has legs. You know what I mean? Like if you do Transformers in GI Joe font,
Yeah,
and then yeah, like that would have been really really
and
cool.
can you imagine
And
the Vamp turning into a robot that has Vamp parts and his name is Vamp?
yeah, like the reinforcements have arrived from Cybertron, and now GI Joe has joined the battle, and the Decepticons and Cobra are aligned, and yeah, I'm actually really liking that idea, dude. I think that was a missed opportunity.
Like again, it's one of those things where I feel like with the '80s franchises and the '80s car, like it writes itself. You had
Was
everything
it
right there for it. All you needed to do was make that leap, and you didn't do it.
is it a mistake putting an O-ring figure with it to ride inside of it? Like, did it need to be that scale, or could they have gotten away with doing what they did with Knight Rider and the DeLorean and all that?
No, I think the O-ring was a good idea. I do think the O-ring was a good idea, so it kind of upscaled those Transformers to that. Um, and I
Look at the
think if
price
you're,
point.
yeah, well, okay, if they were their own Transformers and they had their own thing, I think the price point that they were charging for them would have been reasonable, or at least one that I would have been like, okay, I'll pay that. But giving
You
me
know
a
what?
like a Thunder Machine Soundwave, like why? Why did you pair those two together?
You know what? That it actually makes really good sense that they would just do the vehicles and release them with their O-ring driver that they were supposed to have. Don't put like Zartan and Zarana with the Thunder Machine. That should have been Xandar, so that
Yeah,
when you're buying these O-ring figures, you can choose to display those Transformers as the vehicles. And now Hasbro doesn't got to pull double duty and come out with
yeah.
these
I would have.
vehicles.
I like the idea of giving me a carded Zartan, but I would have much rather had a Thrasher with the Thunder Machine.
Yeah,
And I
that would
would
have
have
made
much rather Thrasher be his own character, or the Thunder Machine be his own character, than be a mashup of Soundwave, which doesn't fit.
no, it does not. No, so that's great, man. I did not think of it. I was thinking of like price points and Hasbro raising up all the prices, adding another $25 a piece for O-ring figures in there
Hmm.
to jack the costing way up. But boy, I think you're right. If they would have stuck with the original vehicle drivers, they could have released this line adjacent to more individual O-ring figures
Hmm.
and really had it take off, and you could have recollected your, as long as the vehicle functioned relatively like it did as the toy, and you can't hardly tell the difference between that Hiss tank and the Awe Striker than to the original toy, then
Well,
it's perfect.
and they can. So like the vehicle, it does when it's transformed from the robot to the vehicle, it looks just like the GI Joe vehicle, just like the toy. So they almost had it. They almost had it. They just didn't connect the two of making the vehicle its own character in Transformers, and instead they went with a mashup, which I think confused a lot of people.
Yeah, and the characters were totally they did it probably to keep, because they know Optimus Prime and Megatron and Bumblebee and Sound or Starscream are the most popular characters, but I think you're right. At this point, I think that collectors of both would have probably still bought them if it. I mean, you're totally correct. The Havoc,
Yeah.
Havoc as an Autobot, all that stuff. It works. It works.
And then, like I said, you when you were playing with these as a kid, they had their own personality. They had their own thing that you did with them. The vehicles are just as recognizable as the characters are. And so to say that the Ostriker has to transform into Bumblebee in order to be a seller, No, no, it doesn't. You could have made him his own Transformer and people would have went nuts.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And if it got super popular, why not do a version of Optimus Prime or Bumblebee um, as an, a truck or a vehicle that GI Joe fits in?
Oh man. Oh, that would have been really good. Introducing Transformers to the G.I. Joe line instead. Or giving us like a G.I. Joe, like, you know, Optimus Prime is working with the G.I. Joe forces, and here's Optimus Prime in his camouflage, but he's still Optimus Prime, right? Like,
Right, yeah. Yeah, like you could have I think there was an opportunity there where if they wanted to bring in Transformers characters that, you could have brought Optimus Prime in, make him a flatbed so he can haul the other
oh
vehicles.
man, hauling a vamp, having Duke as a driver as Optimus Prime. Oh my gosh. Now see, I'm sad. I'm sad, Steve, because I'm not gonna get these. It only exists up here, and that makes me sad.
So I want to stay on the Transformers Joe thing because it was just announced that there is going to be a web series or some
Mhm.
limited release series of Transformers and Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that and bring it to retail unless we are doing like two-inch Joes in a transformer with simplified transformation. And I don't know how to get that into retail and not have it be so far out of reach for most people, other than collectors, because we've
A
seen
2-inch line of GI Joes with Transformers might be something. That would
yeah.
be a good
So
idea.
the Loyal Subjects mask figures are a really good kind of comparison because they still have articulation and they can
Mhm.
still move. But obviously they're not like complicated construction design. I think you could do something like that scaled down and put it with a transformer with a real simple transformation. And I think that's how it works at retail when you get these
Yeah.
SKUs at $20 and 30 and 50 and 70. Um, like the smallest ones being in that like $20 range, and in now's retail. But I don't know that they're going to do anything for merchandising crossover with that. But I mean, that's how do you do that with these two franchises where like the Super 7 O-rings are still $20 and your Optimus Prime is 59.99 that you buy, so you're talking $80 on the retail shelf. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. But I don't think it would be a risk for him either to do that. Because, well, look at it this way. Transformers is still on the shelves. Transformers is in movies. Transformers still has a TV show, or is it's airing a TV show now. It's into its next generation of Transformers. G.I. Joe has no TV show, has no movie, has no comic. Well, it has a comic now. Um, but and that thing has massive legs. Like people are buying these things sell out. So don't tell me that G.I. Joe is a risk because I don't think it is.
I
And
think if you package them together, it puts it in a pricing point that makes it outside of profitability for Hasbro as a mass retail release. As a collector release, we're obviously buying the crap.
yeah,
Like we're buying the Transformers Triple T tank, and Leatherneck and Sergeant Slaughter 2-pack that's
yeah,
ninety
but the Triple T
dollars.
tank is Cup. Come on.
I know, like should have been Braun, but
You see what I mean? Oh,
yeah,
missed opportunity. Nothing is worse than a missed opportunity. Ah,
yeah, yeah. I think it's just probably too sad to continue on what could have been and what would have made like these great collector releases. Um,
it's yeah. Okay, so let's maybe talk about some other crossovers that don't make us as angry as collectors. Um, let's see. I'm looking up crossovers.
well, is there any superhero crossover that makes sense?
Like,
Like taking Marvel superheroes and crossing it with another franchise. Does it make sense to do that?
yeah, actually it does. So In fact, comics were some of the first ones to do nerd crossovers that we actually see, right? So if DC and Marvel were to get together and give us the crossover characters that we had for the DC versus Marvel, do you remember like when Batman merged with Wolverine and
Yeah,
things like
that was
that?
under like Amalgam Comics or
Yeah,
something was the brand that they had that under. Yeah.
um, I think people would love those figures. I really do. What do you think?
The- Well, I think that it's a little complicated because right now it's McFarlane and it's going back to Mattel.
Hmm.
Do you think it would make sense to do like Mattel handles three of the two packs, and then Hasbro handles three of the two packs? They're in 6-inch scale, but we get to see some Marvel characters done Mattel's way, and
Hmm.
we get to see some Mattel characters done, or I mean, like Hasbro's way.
Right.
So like we don't know what's going to happen with Mattel's 6-inch figures. We know they're going to do them. Are they going to be like streamlined and simplified, or are they going to look like Black Series figures that
Well, actually,
Marvel Legends does?
now that you bring up that Mattel is regaining the DC license, and Masters of the Universe has already been pimped out to all these other licenses.
Yeah,
I feel like the next thing that's going to happen is Masters of the Universe and DC characters like He-Man as Superman and Man-at-Arms as Batman. And you see what I'm saying? I think that's going to be the thing that happens.
I
It
don't.
seems like an
I
inevitability to me at this point.
it's quite possible. I think that if they were smart about it and they did them both in like the origin style bodies,
Hmm.
and they made it to where the superheroes didn't look super funky. Like maybe they have some He-Man's type gear that they can put on, but if you strip it down like the Thundercats, they look
Hmm.
like
Thundercats.
yeah, Thundercats and look like superheroes. That might be kind of cool. I mean, there was a weird DC Savage Land figure thing that they did years ago that looked like Motu, and they were all like fantasy inspired DC superheroes. But um,
I don't know. I think that Mattel, given their track record with Masters of the Universe and the other licenses that they've gotten their clutches on, I feel like that's a foregone conclusion. Like it's gonna happen. Masters of the Universe is going to cross over with DC, and we're gonna get smash ups like we did. I. In fact, now that I talk about it out loud, it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna
I
happen.
think you're right. Um, how come? How come with Hasbro owning Tonka, we haven't seen GoBots, real, actual GoBots crossing over with Transformers at scale?
Or with all of the freaking retro things that they've done, how come we haven't seen a retro release of GoBots itself? You know
Yeah,
how fast
I
those
don't.
would sell out?
I think that they would probably be 12 or 13.99 a piece because they were $3 back in the
And I
day.
would buy it.
Oh, especially if they were carded like the
Yeah.
original on a retro card.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Hasbro has done, they've given us a track record. They are releasing these things. So give us GoBots on their original card, market retro, however you got to do it to annotate that it's new. But give us that. That would go far, I think.
I think it would have legs. Now, I would like the retro reissues, but I wouldn't mind a Voyager size Leader 1 with interchangeable faceplates to either make him look like the toy or the cartoon
Or the
character.
cartoon, yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
have him really articulated, be able to move at the elbows. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, missing opportunity there. I really think that that could be a crossover that's just a no-brainer that works. You
Yeah.
do waves of Transformers figures and you pepper GoBots at same scale in with them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to have an upscaled Psykill that's done with the technology that we see in the Earthrise and the Legacy, right? Like that seems like, oh gosh, people would buy that right out of the back. Yeah, Hasbro,
Yeah.
is anybody watching my show? Is it
Well, I'm sad to report nobody watches our show, but we got good ideas, right?
Oh gosh. We'll give them away for free. We just want the shit.
We just want to see it and spend money on it. Yes.
Oh man. All right. This was a good show. I'm glad we talked about it. We only got a minute or two left.
Okay.
Um, so I really enjoy that we're back in the saddle again, so to speak. Hopefully we can do more shows in the future and bring you some more content that you listen to as you're sitting on the toilet. I don't know how else to say that. So
There's
thank
a
you.
lot of insomniacs out there
Yeah,
that
and
owe
so
us big
nothing else
time
to
for
watch
putting
at
them to
4 a.m. in
sleep.
the morning except two old dudes talk about toys.
No, I guarantee you, if you have sleep trouble, you put this show on, and within 3 or 4 seconds of hearing Doug and I's really good ideas, you're out. You don't need no Ambien. You don't need any of that.
Yeah, we're the cure for the common cold, or the cure for insomnia, at least.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if kids went outside and played instead of listening to our podcast?
I would be happy if just one kid listened to my podcast.
Oh, yeah, never mind. You sit there and you like it.
Go outside, touch some grass, damn it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, yes, thanks for playing along, everybody. We really enjoy doing this thing. We enjoy having you along. Obviously, Doug is the Toyman 80s over at Instagram, and you put an underscore
Yep.
after all those words. You can find me over at the Plastic Adventures Toy Community on Facebook. You can drop some comments or whatever on the videos and let YouTube know that somebody watched it. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. It's always exciting to see I got a thumbs up on one of my videos.
yeah,
One
and
of two.
hey, what about the crossovers that you guys want to see that we haven't talked about? Ninja Turtles and My Little Pony, because Ninja Turtles hasn't hoarded themselves there yet.
And we know that there's My Little Pony fans out there. We know you exist.
Yeah, yeah, you bronies need to speak up with your wallets on that one.
All right. So here's looking for some more episodes in the future. Hopefully we get to do them. And if we don't see you before then, hopefully maybe we'll see you in the toy aisle.